So, the first two articles I have are not from the B.R.I.D.G.E.DEI Smart Brief, but these two articles came across my, like, normal mobile newsfeed. And I was like, because these are now just in my normal newsfeed, I wonder what the B.R.I.D.G.E.DEI Smart Brief has to say. This is an interesting development. So, the first article I found, I've never heard of this website, Fast Company. Never heard of them, don't know who they are. But their article here, from August 27th this year, Attract, Engage, Retain. How to build an inclusive workplace culture. Embracing diversity of thought, experience, and background is essential for modern businesses. Here's what business leaders need to know. And now, the average normie who just reads article headlines and then moves on will be like, yeah, this sounds great. Oh, of course we want diversity of thought. That's what people have been asking for years. We're finally getting it. They're listening. We're winning. We're winning, chat. Building a vibrant workplace that's bustling with unique voices and perspectives opens up a kaleidoscope of possibilities. Each distinct voice is one shade in a collage of colors that, together, are incredibly well-suited for driving innovation, enhancing employee satisfaction, improving performance, contributing to a positive and ethical organizational culture. A dynamic business environment thrives when it's filled with diverse knowledge and experience. And that is the essence and true benefit of diversity, equity, and inclusion. D.E.I. A lack of diversity has measurable drawbacks. My professional industry, physical therapy, has yet to fully tap into the power of a diverse workforce. Only 16.2% of employed physical therapists are Black, Asian, or Hispanic Latino. Per the Bureau of Labor Statistics, while nearly 42% of the U.S. population identifies with these ethnicities. The racial imbalance in the physical therapy industry does not reflect America's melting pot, and it creates a huge barrier from minority patients. One study of the outcomes of Black patients indicated that increasing the representation of Black primary care physicians by 10% increased life expectancy by 30 days. I don't know what kind of bunk study you have here. I absolutely refuse to believe that having a primary care physician that is the same race as you will increase your life expectancy simply by that fact alone. 30 days, what a deal! I get an extra month! It looks like I'm only getting white doctors from now on! One more month of suffering. Let me open this up and see what this is. Hold on, just in case the page loads some like weird fucking login with your Google bullshit. Okay. Question, is Black representation in the U.S. primary care physician workforce associated with population health outcomes? Well, that's a completely different question. That's a completely different question. Black representation in the primary care physician workforce and its association with population life expectancy and mortality rates. Findings. In this cohort study of survival outcomes for 1,618 U.S. counties, Black PCPs operated in less than half of all counties during each of 3 points assessed, 2009, 2014, and 2019. On average, every 10% increase in county-level Black PCP representation was associated with a 31-day higher age standardized life expectancy among Black individuals. Higher Black PCP representation levels were also associated with lower all-cause mortality rates among Black individuals and with reduced mortality rate disparities between Black and white individuals. Do they mean that they want each race/color of people to get treated by people only from the same race-color variation? Isn't that apartheid? Shh, you can't tell them that. Correlation does not mean causation. Does that mean you'll live shorter if the doctor's of a different race? I don't understand this, man. The only thing I can really think of that might make any iota of sense is that people were talking about, like, racism in the medical industry because there are things like certain organ donations and certain diseases that will affect people depending on their race, right? Like, I think it was like black people had a higher rate of, like, diabetes and certain heart conditions than other races. And so if they're treated by a black doctor, the black doctor doesn't have to worry about being called racist for noticing these medical things that happen. So that's like the only, like, rational thing I can think of. Yeah, sickle cell's another one. Can't wait for all the DEI doctors to tank the life expectancy from incompetence. For the love of God, your PCP isn't the same race as you and you don't give a damn. She does her job well and that's all you care about. Like, shit, man. I saw a Korean male gynecologist for, like, the last 8 years or some shit. That's racist, Kirsche. Oh my God. Okay, back to the other article. Hold on here. Imagine similar outcome improvements with physical therapy patients who often struggle with acute or chronic pain and mobility issues. Hey, that's me. I broke my back. And who don't seek care due to the lack of provider representation or exposure to the field in general. I would be willing to bet that the majority of people who don't seek care from a doctor are not because, oh, well, I can't find a doctor that's the same race as me. I feel like it's more like all of us distrust doctors in general, regardless of their race or gender. Right? Like, and even adding on to that, right, black people have had to deal with the government meddling in their medical affairs, like with the fucking, oh God, what's the town called where they were given fucking syphilis? That fucking experiment that happened. Right, like, they have even more of a reason to mistrust doctors than the rest of it. Yeah, Tuskegee. Thank you, Chad. I'm bad at names. I'm bad at names. Yeah, the Tuskegee experiments. So I was like, I would imagine they have more reason to distrust doctors than your average person, right? They want you to be sick. Yeah, exactly. You avoid doctors as much as possible, especially from the VA. Yeah, I fucking hate doctors, man. It was a historically black college that actually performed that experiment for the government. That is... I didn't know that. What the fuck? To that end, organizations can open the aperture via their hiring process and find and keep a fantastic array of employees by focusing on 3 areas: thoughtful recruitment, community engagement, and inclusive retention practices. Wow. We're not using the word equity anymore. We're using inclusive retention practices. It's almost as if B.R.I.D.G.E.DEI and then Shurm and then other companies have been saying, you know, we're just gonna remove equity from the language. We need to obfuscate it so people don't notice what we're doing. Modernize your hiring practices. If your organization is struggling to recruit a diverse slate of candidates, then your hiring practices need updating. Start by setting clear guidelines about what diversity means for the position and the company, and subsequently tracking the success of any specific initiatives your organization puts into motion. These same goals may encourage your recruiters to interview candidates you might normally pass by. Diversity of experience and background can be game-changing while allowing you to index for similar skill sets. I don't like the phrase diversity of experience. Because when I, a normal human being, would think diversity of experience, I'd be like, oh, so they have actual on-field experience doing multiple different things in the medical field. But how I'm betting it's being used here is the same way it's being used in the gaming industry, where it actually means people who are not quite qualified for these jobs, but they can get hired and then learn while on the job and then go off on their own after. Is the range good to excellent? Consider casting a wider candidate net by connecting with professional organizations, minority-focused institutions, and social organizations outside of your traditional industry-specific context. Historically black colleges and universities and the Society of Hispanic Professional Engineers are great examples of organizations that may not be on your radar, but could connect you with stellar candidates. Some scholarships may even offer employment connection services, like the Rising Tide Foundation. After expanding your candidate pool, take a magnifying glass to your organization's candidate recruitment and evaluation process. Does your website correctly represent your diverse team? Do you include cultural competence and unconscious bias training? Hey, we learned about that from Amazon. For your hiring team. Does your hiring process specifically take steps to reduce bias, e.g. blinding gender or names? Are any of your job requirements superfluous and prevent qualified candidates from applying? Let no process go unquestioned to help eliminate barriers to entry. Cultivating trust in the community. Wow. Oh my god. Whenever I see this, I just think about the fucking Bridge interview where they talk about how once you've embedded the tenets of DEI into your company and you've made it the DNA, that after it's become everyone's job to do this work at their job and at home, eventually they will be able to change consumer opinions as well with this ideology. Engaging with and establishing trust between you and your local communities, and with today's workforce, even national communities, is another great way to improve your overall recruitment. Plus, employees love it when their employers give back to communities. 86% of employees want their employer's values to align with their own. I just want company to sell me product. If I could never learn what a company has as far as like political affiliation and values go, just make good product, sell me good product. I just want company to pay me. Cultivate trust within your geographic locations and show your employees that you care by partnering with local charitable organizations that align with your mission and create opportunities for them to give back. Host a donation drive, offer company-sponsored volunteer days, or participate in a community event as a company. Aside from boosting company morale, these events, especially when aligned with the industry you serve, provide great brand awareness opportunities. Always get that PR photo op, baby! Over time, these types of activities and events will help you strengthen your ties to different cultural and business communities, expanding your general outreach as you try to diversify your candidate pool. Create an inclusive culture. The best way to retain new hires is to create an inclusive company culture where employees feel valued, understood, empowered, and ultimately have a sense of belonging. Is this like when instead of getting a raise, you get a pizza party? Is that what I mean? Codify inclusivity in the organization. A culture of inclusivity won't spring up overnight. While enforced policies and employee training are a given, culture must be lived by everyone in the company. Oh god, I love seeing bridge language out in the wild like this. It's so fucking vindicating to read. Like, I hate it, and I hope we stop it. But it's like, I've been screeching about this since fucking January, and people have been like, oh, well, she's pushing her speculation as fact. No, they're literally telling us what they're fucking doing. I'm not speculating shit. And that starts with the leaders. Demonstrating cultural competence in all hands meetings and communication, both internally and externally, is critical. But a laser focus on the business's mission is by far the most important method to foster inclusivity. When employees are able to lock arms around a common purpose, success is imminent. I like how they keep referencing the mission, common purpose, you know, doing the work. But other than talking about, you know, the vague senses of inclusivity, because we can't use equity anymore, they don't exactly tell you what it is, you know? Please put it in a text document so I can create a resource for others. Video game guy has been working on getting a website up to compile all of my sources and shit. Because I know I haven't been getting out, and I don't know, maybe I can get help with this. But like, I haven't been getting out any of the smaller clips, like cutting out these segments to put them like as standalone videos. And I think that's something that's kind of necessary with just how dense all of this information is. Very, very dense. But it's just like, I can't believe that they're just like, enforced policies and employee training are a given. Culture must be lived by everyone in the company. How long have I been saying it won't matter if you disagree? The company's gonna force this shit on you, and if you want to keep your job, you will be living their culture unless we can put an actual stop to this. It's just like, fuck, man. Fuck, man. You just need a plugin that'll give a live feed of what tabs you have open. Text is absolutely necessary? Oh no, I agree. Fall in line. Oh god, I can kind of taste blood. My throat's fucking awful today. Corpo cringe is how it all started. I was like, when you feel like you're a crazy person and all the people, I don't want to say all the people, because like, again, there have been people like Neon and like Lotus Eaters, and Craig has had me on his podcast. There are people who have covered this, but it's like when I'm screaming into the void and everyone's just like, oh yeah, it's just a rebranding of DEI, don't pay attention, like it's not a big deal, don't look at it. Like even ARC like waved it off as just a simple rebranding. So it's just like, it makes you feel kind of crazy sometimes, right? Where you're just like, I'm saying this one thing, but all of these people that I would normally perceive to be smarter than me are just telling me it's nonsense. So it's like, it's real vindicating to be like, well, fuck, they're literally saying it again. Like, it's everything I've said that was going to happen back in January, back in March, back in April, has fucking happened. Crazy. I was crazy once. Prep Cook David, thank you for the 5. When did corporations become cults? Oh god, decades ago. D Hammond, thank you for the 5. They call us the fascist as they advocate for ethical corporations, right, dude? It's literally the same language that they use in NOAS, diversity, equity, and inclusion strategy. Yeah, it's the same. Offer professional development opportunities. Studies show that retention is 34% higher among employees who receive access to professional development, like leadership training, conference tickets, or comped skill or certificate courses. Create opportunities for mastery via structured career paths so employees can work towards a common goal. Well, this is a good thing if you offer it to everyone, but we know that's typically not the case. Kirsche is a modern Cassandra, it seems. I'm the Alex Jones of VTubers. Nobody listens to me, but my jar keeps filling up. Establish employee resource groups, or ERGs. ERGs are employee-led groups that meet on a semi-regular basis, providing a platform for employees to connect, share experiences, and support one another. If leadership meets with ERG members, they may also gain insight about the needs of their employees and the areas in which they can grow. And we have read so many different companies' ERGs, especially recently. We all know that ERGs are race-based, they're sex-based, so there's no European ERG, there's no male ERG, there's no straight ERG, it's all for the typical people. Someone please tell me Kirsche isn't going to become the modern Cassandra. Oh no. Success depends on transformation. Embracing diversity of thought, experience, and background is essential for modern businesses to transform workplaces into vibrant, innovative environments devoted to creating value for all stakeholders: customers, vendors, boards, and employees. Celebrating employees' differences and coalescing around a common purpose builds a stronger professional environment, empowering everyone to thrive. That was an interesting article about, I mean, it gave us a snapshot of some of the ways that they're going to be changing language going forward with thoughtful recruitment instead of blatantly calling it diversity. Community engagement is going to be how they're pushing the tenets of DE&I outside of their company onto the consumer. And then inclusive retention practices replacing the equity. They said stakeholders, of course they did. Of course they did. And then the other article, and I know KB pre-read some of these and pointed out some like fucking crazy nonsense. So I think one of the blurbs that he pointed out is in the next article. I don't pre-read, chat. I learn along with you. We have this one. DEI backlash. 4 legitimate concerns to avoid. individualism is against their collective hive mind training? Very much so. Despite the perceived backlash against diversity, equity, and inclusion, or DEI efforts, DEI does not appear to be going away. Wow! What have I been fucking saying? Oh my god! Just send this article to anyone who fucking celebrates, man. This is all you need. Just be like, look at this article. Oh, go look at this brain-damaged fox woman. She hates soup. Insane Linguist, thank you for the 50 CZK. You know the one slated for promotion will be yet again Nepo kids, or the most tattling rectal alpinists? I don't know what an alpinist is, but yeah, Nepo hires frequent. The we're winning people sure are silent! Imagine. Organizations are either doubling down, or others who were never serious to begin with might be abandoning it altogether, studies show. 97% of companies have at least one DEI initiative. Like, we've known this, right? We've seen how many companies are involved, so we've known that it's all-encompassing, but to, like, have the actual percentage in front of you, man, it's almost like it's just going into hiding. Who could have seen this coming? It's completely unpredictable. 85% have a dedicated DEI budget. 82% of US organizations are measuring the business impacts of DEI, and this year, we saw many companies implementing their own DEI monitoring services so that they can better implement DEI policies without calling them as such. 78% prioritized DEI more than the previous year, with 45% foreseeing increasing their DEI budget in the next financial year, up from 35% in 2023. Even with the DEI backlash, the imperative has not changed. B.R.I.D.G.E.DEI has been saying this the entire fucking year. I've been calling this a moral imperative because that is their language. The US is becoming more diverse, and businesses need to stay relevant globally. What do you mean the US is becoming more diverse? I thought that was a far-right white supremacist conspiracy theory. What do you mean? What did you mean by this? Said Craig Welsh, head of traditional and non-traditional distribution at Westfield Insurance. Munya? Oh no, KB, I meant... Hold on. This one. Punya. Oh, that one came from the Smart Brief? Okay, so we'll get to that one after. Whether the DEI acronym stays or is replaced, or companies focus on inclusion and belonging to avoid backlash, or companies focus on inclusion and belonging to avoid backlash. But I'm just assuming things, chat. I'm just assuming. I'm not. There's no way to know. Kirsche is just crazy. The work does not change. Whether the DEI acronym stays or is replaced, or companies focus on inclusion and belonging to avoid backlash, the work does not change. It will take senior leaders supporting DEI and standing up to naysayers who are a part of the backlash for DEI to be successful long term, Welsh explains. I like how Welsh is similar to Walsh. Do you think he's like anti-Matt Walsh? Like I almost said the N-E-G-A word. That's completely fine to say, but if I say it out loud, Twitch might get trigger happy. Wonder if the author of this article is a Kirsche watcher. I'm not sure. They sound like they're just reporting things, so I can't really tell if they're for or against it. Negative universe Walsh. Bizarro Matt Walsh. I'm often in rooms with the other older white men and find opportunities to surface issues of inclusion. For instance, if someone says people are being oversensitive to diversity issues, I can use my voice to question them and present a different viewpoint. I realize I'm heard differently in those situations because I'm also a part of that dominant group. It's one small step toward being an ally. This fucking self-hating cuck. Like, I cannot imagine being as much of a racist as these people are. Encouraging allyship at the highest level of organizations, especially for those with privilege and power, is critical to the long-term success of DEI. Somewhat ironically, the backlash is occurring because DEI efforts are succeeding. With any positive social change, backlash is likely to occur. Ray Vaughn, head of labor and employment for Wayfair, spoke at the Society for Human Resource Management's 2024 conference about the following DEI practices that may cause backlash. DEI programs that encourage hiring and promotion of underrepresented individuals, diversity training that portrays white individuals as the bad guys, individual suits by employees who lose their jobs or are denied a promotion and complain they were replaced by someone because of diversity goals, shareholder or activist lawsuits targeting corporate DEI policies or initiatives, or efforts by state government leaders to clamp down on DEI programs in public education and employment. I would like to go back and remind you that these are the following DEI practices that may cause backlash. So these practices that I just read off are all things that are currently happening. Things that when you point out that they're currently happening, people say, you're crazy. It's not happening. You're just a racist. This is why they needed to move to that shift of equating DEI with the N-word. We saw in DEI After 5 that other human resources group CEO talk about how DEI has become the N-word.
And it's been almost exchanged for, I said this to someone the other day, right? Like DEI is almost like the new N-word.
What the fuck? Oh my! How can you say that with a straight fucking face? A week later, maybe 2 weeks, we saw CNN parrot that. They have to make it that way because when you point this thing out, the only way they have to silence you is to call you a terrible person for being against their ideology.
The other thing I'd say is that he is going to continue to use all these racist dog whistles throughout the campaign. We're going to see it from Trump, we're going to see it from J.D. Vance, and we're going to see it from a lot of their surrogates. In fact, just yesterday, one of the surrogates was saying, if we don't win, we're going to have a civil war to get our agenda through. A civil war. And so this is an organization, this is a right-wing campaign that's going to be racist, misogynistic against the vice president, but we're going to stand on the issues and what really matters. It's the fact that she is qualified. They want to call her a DEI president or DEI candidate. She has more experience than Trump and J.D. Vance combined times a million, right? She worked at the state level. She was the attorney general. She's vice president of the United States. She was a senator representing one of the largest states in the entire country. And so these are just racist dog whistles. Whenever you hear DEI, I want you to think about the N-word. I want you to think about racial slurs. That's what they actually mean.
It's not happening, but it's good that it's happening. Yeah, we finally entered the it's not happening, but actually it is, and it's a good thing phase of this. Any change will cause backlash. Why does he assume he's right? Concern number 1. Ooh, there's a little video here. Oh no, this has nothing to do with this, maybe? I don't know what that is. Hiring quotas. Although DEI quotas can help level the playing field for historically marginalized group and help to send a message that a company is committed to diversity and inclusion, they may also be seen as discriminatory. That's because they are. When a company sets aside a certain number of positions for members of a particular group, which they should never do, it can send the message that these groups are not qualified to compete on their own merits. It absolutely does. Quotas can lead to resentment among employees who feel that they were not hired based on their qualifications, and they can be difficult to implement and enforce. It can be challenging to determine who is eligible for a quota position and how to measure the effectiveness of a quota program. Concern number 2 is bad guy training. Shaming people into feeling like the bad guy is not a helpful tactic in DEI training programs because it can lead to feelings of inadequacy, guilt, and defensiveness, which can make it difficult for participants to learn and grow. This is exactly what Shurm was saying in the video that I have on my channel right now. When we watched the Shurm presentation of how they're changing diversity, equity, and inclusion to just diversity and inclusion, he said that shaming white people has not been helping them to get white men on their side. The white men need to also feel included so that they will also accept this ideology. So, in the coming months, and probably beginning of next year as well, you're going to see a lot less agitational language towards white people and towards men. They still think all of these are bad, and they will still implement these diversity quotas, but they're going to use much gentler language so that you can learn and grow about how you're bad without feeling guilt and defensiveness. Who could have guessed? Yeah. Again, I don't remember how long ago we watched that Shurm video. I think it was maybe in June or beginning of July. But it's like, this is already what we knew was happening. We already knew they were going to start rolling back the language to be more accepting so that people who aren't paying attention will then fight for these people, being like, look, they're being inclusive now. They're no longer criticizing white men. They're no longer leaving white men out of the equation. Additionally, shame can create a hostile environment where people are afraid to speak up and share their experiences. This can hinder the goals of a DEI training program because when people feel ashamed, they may be less likely to take risks, ask questions, or challenge their own assumptions. This can make it difficult for them to learn new information and develop new skills. This is also something both B.R.I.D.G.E.DEI and Shurm talked about that we went over on stream before. Where people will feel ashamed to speak up and talk about their experiences, right? If you're a white dude and you come out and you're like, well, I might have done something that, you know, could have been perceived as a microaggression. If you say that, you're going to feel like you're going to get attacked, because typically you will be. So they want to make it a safe place for you to air all of your sins to the priest, you know, a confessional of sorts. Concern number 3, diversity tokenism. Promoting people solely based on their diversity carries potential risks that organizations need to consider. 1, the perception of unqualified candidates. When the focus is solely on diversity, there's a risk of promoting individuals who may not be the most qualified or experienced for the role. This can lead to inefficiencies, lower productivity, and decreased employee morale. This is the first time that I have actually heard any of these articles that argue about how good DEI is, admitting that there is a risk of promoting people who are not qualified. Almost every single other article walks in lockstep saying, the risk doesn't exist. If you think there's a risk, you're just a racist. This is the first time they bring it up. You're surprised they speak that part out loud? I know. Tokenism, promoting people from diverse backgrounds solely to fulfill diversity quotas, can lead to perception of tokenism. This can undermine the credibility of the organization's commitment to diversity and inclusion and devalue the achievements of those who have genuinely earned their positions. Yeah, all of that is true, and all of that has been happening for decades. Lack of meritocracy. When promotions are not based on merit and qualifications, it can create a sense of unfairness and resentment among employees who have consistently demonstrated their capabilities. This can erode motivation, hinder employee engagement, and contribute to a toxic work environment. This is the most self-aware I have ever read something in one of these articles. 4, lack of long-term commitment. If promotions are driven primarily by diversity goals without considering the long-term implications, it can result in a lack of commitment from the promoted individuals. They may not genuinely identify with the organization's values or goals, leading to higher turnover rates and a lack of sustained engagement. People were already, at my generation, people were already not really feeling the same sort of loyalty to a corporation that people in the past used to. And the current generation entering the workforce is even more so. Like, they do not believe in being devoted to your corporation, which is a good thing. It's a very good thing that that's kind of dying out, because you do not get rewarded for being committed to your company. 5, limited opportunities for growth. Promoting people based solely on diversity may limit their opportunities for growth and development. When individuals are promoted without the necessary skills and experience, they may struggle to perform effectively in their new roles, hindering their career progression in the long run. Imagine my shock! Concern number 4 is public education overstep. Due to 2023 SCOTUS's ruling against affirmative action, higher education institutions face a complex and evolving legal landscape when it comes to supporting diversity. Colleges and universities must be careful not to discriminate against students or employees based on race, gender, religion, and other protected characteristics, while also not basing admission decisions on these identities. This impacts organizations in higher education specifically, and organizations that do business with the government in conservative states with anti-DEI legislation. While laws haven't been written that limit organizations from doing DEI work, corporate attorneys are nervous with the legal precedent that's been set in higher education and in some state governments like Utah, Florida, and Texas. Hiring quotas, bad guy training, diversity tokenism, and public education overstep will continue to be issues for organizations navigating the tricky waters of DEI. To protect the work and stay legal, stay the course, and mitigate these risks to weather the backlash successfully. Who's this author? Julie Kratz is the founder of Next Pivot Point and The Little Allies, organizations that work to promote allyship in the workplace, as well as with future generations. She champions diversity, equity, and inclusion using storytelling and business case studies to help leaders be better allies. Julie is a certified unconscious bias trainer. I didn't know you could get certified as an unconscious bias trainer. Kelly, MBA, certified master coach and certified psychological safety practitioner. She has authored 6 books, the newest being Allyship in Action, 10 Strategies for Living Inclusively, and is especially proud of her children's book, Little Allies, as a mother of 3 girls with diverse identities. Oh, she's a Munchausen woman! Oh, those poor children. Those poor fucking children. This isn't even a link. I wanted to look at the book. Hold on. I need to look up this book now. We're going on a side quest, chat. We're side questing. Little Allies is a beautifully illustrated children's story that inspires kids to be their best with everyone, especially for those who may need an ally from time to time. As Ally navigates through her school day, or I guess it's Allie. Oh, really? Little Allies, the book about how to be a diversity, equity, and inclusion ally, and the main character's name is Allie? You fucking kidding me? As Allie navigates through her school day, she watches her classmates face bullying and discrimination. Allie realizes that they all want the same thing, to be accepted as they are. Allie learns an important lesson, brought to light by her teacher, that our differences make each of us as unique and special, and that we can be an ally to others to help them navigate through life. Little Allies is a touching tale that reminds us of the importance of accepting each other, celebrating our differences, and working to become an ally. Yes, children! You must also do the work! The colorful pictures show Allie's willingness to stand by her friends, even when she doesn't know how else to help. Adults in the story are also important allies, helping kids navigate challenges, learn ways to support, and cherish their uniqueness. The bonus material at the end of the book will spark discussion at home or in the classroom. 100% of online book sale proceeds will be donated to a nonprofit or organization focused on children's diversity and inclusion development, or providing equitable access to opportunities for all children. What did they mean by this? What is the nonprofit or organization that they donate to that focuses on children's diversity and inclusion development? What a dystopian fucking phrase. The work. It's crazy, dude. There are some. Let me look here. I just want to make sure. Okay. I wanted to look at some of the reviews here. All right, let's blow this up here. Let's blow this up. recommend! I have worked in this space for decades, and most recently, I am called in when quote-unquote allyship fails for individuals inside organizations. Let's not let that happen for the next generation of our workforce. If you have kids, or teach kids, or know kids, or even if you're an adult, exclamation point, I highly recommend buying this book. Our future depends on it. Congratulations, Julie Kratz, on this step you're taking to change the world. A must-read for parents and educators committed to DE&I. I loved this book. The author does an amazing job of educating kids about the importance of allyship and respecting people's differences. Building bridges starts with education, learning, and discussion. This book is a great starting place to facilitate those, often uncomfortable conversations. It even comes with an ally promise and discussion guide for adults. Highly recommend for any parent or educator committed to DE&I education. Yeah, our future depends on... Yeah, these... Here's the book. You can see the book now. Look at it. Look at all these little allies. Look at this art. It looks shit. Fantastic kids book of becoming an ally for diversity and inclusion. Looking for a great way to introduce inclusion, diversity, and allyship to children? Look no farther. Julie Kratz has written the book you're seeking. Little Allies takes an open, honest, and easily understood approach for kids, teachers, and parents. Julie's book provides a wonderful discussion and learning platform designed to introduce diversity, inclusion, and being an ally in an engaging and educational manner. Suitable for kids of all ages and even adults. People still think book burning was a mistake. I would never want to burn this book. I would want to let it serve as an example of just how crazy things got in this point in time. There's a video of a woman reading it. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, I have that in a tab now too, don't worry. A children's book that adults should read too. Julie Kratz has written a charming book with powerful messages. Ally, the main character, takes the reader through several situations where she demonstrates how to be a friend/ally. The book even has a discussion guide for parents, guardians, and teachers. Hell, hate is carefully taught. Little Allies is a wonderful counterbalance to hate, bullies, and polarization among kids. Buy several copies and gift them to the parents and teachers in your sphere of influence. Great play on words with names, many short stories. Really? Really? Aussie girl Margie? After I just complained how they used fucking Allie as the name of the woman for ally? At first I thought this book was quite long for my child, but upon reading I realized it was perfect for a longer read or over a few nights. Every few pages is a new story focusing on a different aspect of diversity that might occur at school or anywhere, really. The ending sums it up well, and the main character's name, Allie, is a great way of explaining allies. I like how they had to explain this in the book because it would get confusing. Then Mr. Clark said something really cool. Did you know that Allie's name also has another meaning? It's spelled the same, but you say it like this. Ally. Do you know what that word means? Everyone was quiet. An ally is someone who helps others who are different. An ally is there for you when you are teased or when someone treats you unfairly. It can be a teacher, a parent, or a friend. Does that make sense? Who's Mr. Ally? Oh my god. My ally promise? What the fuck? We love this book. It's a step-by-step on how to raise empathetic kids who will stand as allies to their friends. What a great way to foster conversation with our little ones about honoring our differences. Ugh. Thank you for such a well-written book that helps start or continue conversations that we need to be having, but are sometimes hard to start. I read the other night to my 7-year-old. She loved the book and it kept her attention. I felt relief because I want to have conversations about inclusion and diversity, but I don't always know where to start. As a teacher myself, I feel this is a wonderful resource. Thank you. There's a lot of 5-star reviews here, right? This is a nice book. I also think it's a great way to teach kids about equality. But there's a lot of books like this. I think with the new things we've been learning over the year about privilege and unconscious bias, we need to implement this into our teachings. For example, not all black people are athletes. Not all Asians are good at math. I give this book a 3-star rating for the good intention, and not 5, because it still isn't bringing awareness that catches up with the awareness most people are having today in 2020/2021, due to all the events happening around the world. Oh my god. What? 3 stars because it isn't woke enough! Game-changing book. Alright, so I want to see the, like, really low reviews. Look at my painting. Sorry, no reviews match? What do you mean? It said that there were things here. 3-star? That's the one 3-star? I guess 80% of people enjoyed the book, so you know. Needs more the work. We need more of the work in the book. Let's get a little peep here, because there is that. So you can't read the offensive reviews.
Hi, I'm Julie Kratz, and I am the author of the new children's book, The Little Allies, illustrated by Ed Mayo. Little Allies is a children's story about inclusion, diversity, and becoming an ally.
How many views
Let's
does
read
this have?
together.
1.6K? None of these videos ever have any views on them, chat! Every time I find one of these, man! Introduction, Henry, Jack, Yasmin, Allie, the Ally Promise. Oh boy.
Hi, my name is Allie Rogers. I am in Mr. Clark's 4th grade class at Friendship Elementary. I love school, especially math and science. But what I love the most is playing with my friends on the playground.
Yeah, just kid shit! Normal kid shit!
I learned something really important this week. It all began on Monday during recess when I was playing with Prisha and Tommy.
Oh my god, look at that white man chasing that indigenous woman! This is violence, chat!
Tommy chased us around the swings, pointed at Prisha, and said, "You don't belong here." Prisha stopped running and turned to Tommy. "Why don't I belong?" Tommy said, "You're different. You are not from here."
My kids would say that shit if you were from the town over, are you kidding? Kids fucking hated the students that would come in the middle of the year. Oh my god. Things that never happened for 500. KKK's gotta be seething because they'll never be 1/100th as racist as these people. The KKK seethes in jealousy at how racist these people can be. Also, yeah, I agree. It does look like a self-insert.
You see, last week, Prisha brought in Indian clothes for show and tell. It was really cool to learn about her family. They have a festival called Diwali. It is important to them as Christmas is to my family.
When I was in the 4th grade, there was only one Jewish girl in the class, and she brought in, like, dreidels and other assorted stuff about, like, Hanukkah. Nobody was just like, "Get out, Jew!" Like, it was, like, we were all kids! We were just having fun! She was teaching us something new! Nobody got up! It was just like, "You don't belong here!" Yeah, I learned the dreidel. I made it out of clay. Dreidel. Something. So I don't remember the words. I was in 4th grade, okay, Chad? I remembered the song. Go home, gamer girl. Yeah, I know, right?
Did Tommy think Prisha didn't belong because her family was from India? This made me feel weird.
Who? This is not how children think.
I didn't know what to do. Tommy hurt Prisha's feelings and I wanted to make her feel better. What would you do? Finally, I said to Tommy, "Prisha is my friend. She belongs as much as I do. She's fun to play with, and I like learning about India and her family." I think Tommy was surprised because he just stood there looking at us.
That's like something you should do for anyone who gets bullied, but no kid is gonna be like, "Oh, it's because she's from India." They're just gonna be like, "No, she's my friend. Why are you being a bully to my friend? She suddenly got tiny. She had to shrink to be an ally because otherwise she would have been taking up too much space as a white woman.
Once we were back in class, Tommy did something neither of us expected. Tommy said, "I'm sorry, I didn't mean to say that, but I don't understand why you don't celebrate Christmas. Everyone I know celebrates Christmas." Tommy's apology helped Kirsche feel better. She was even brave enough to tell him.
I would be impressed if a 4th grade boy apologized for anything, to be truly honest. No kids apologize. Yeah, unless they're like forced, right?
More about Diwali. Diwali is a lot like your Christmas. We celebrate as a family and light diyas that are like candles. Diyas outshine the darkness. Like your Christmas, it is a special time for my family.
I don't remember jack shit about it, but we also learned about Kwanzaa when I was in school. I don't know why we learned about Kwanzaa, because we didn't have any students who celebrated it, but we learned about it. Hear me out. What if kids are just assholes? I mean, they are. I'm not saying, like, kids being assholes is the correct thing to do, but it's like kids are assholes, which is why you have to sort of teach them to not be assholes, but not teach them race consciousness. Because it shouldn't matter what race anybody is. It shouldn't matter what holidays they celebrate. You shouldn't be an asshole to them. No one celebrates Kwanzaa. I like how Kamala mentioned Kwanzaa, and even black people were like, this bitch, she should know nobody fucking celebrates that. Beep beep! Smog Alana! I have my alerts off. We're learning about how to make your children good little allies to the cult of DEI. Well, welcome to story time. Thank you for the raid, other fox lady. We could mix our piss into a potent cocktail later. The smugglers attack. Thank you for raid. Welcome, raiders. Your raid failed. You want to kill yourself? Maybe Twitch has been having hiccups today. So I had a few people telling me there was like some audio glitches earlier, but my internet and everything was fine. Welcome, raiders. Welcome. Children,
Amazing! I watched 2 kids become friends right before my eyes. Tommy and Kirsche's new relationship was not all that happened that week. Let me tell you about my friend Henry.
Henry!
On Tuesday before language arts class, my friend Henry looked a bit confused. So I asked, "Henry, are you okay?" You see, I knew Henry was supposed to go to a special day class while we had reading. His teacher must have been late meeting him. Henry nodded. "I'm okay." He didn't look okay. He looked scared. Henry looked like he needed a friend. I asked, "Henry, what is it like to go to your special day classes?" Henry's face lit up. "I love going to my special..."
Why does Henry, the kid that goes to the special day classes, and the previous asshole I forgot the name of, why do they look basically the exact same? Why are they both just generic white male in a red t-shirt? The only difference is one has like a yellow collar. Because all men are the same. True.
Special classes. My teacher says that I have special powers. I'm so glad I waited with him. Instead of being scared, Henry was excited to tell me about his class. Now I wait with him every day and he tells me funny stories. This is how I see Henry now.
What?
On Wednesday during snack time, Mr. Clark read a story. It was about different jobs like firefighters and bankers, and then he asked us to share where our parents worked. This sounds like a regular day at school, right? Well, it wasn't at all. It was a really big deal. Let me tell you about my friend Jack.
Does Jack have 2 daddies?
Jack raised his hand. When Mr. Clark called on him, he said, "My moms are both doctors."
Oh,
both your moms.
Oh, double mom, not double dad, but he is wearing a rainbow shirt. That kid's in danger. I'm surprised he's still a he right now. So close, I know. There's a 50-50 chance, and I chose wrong.
Kirsche asked. She was probably thinking Jack just said it wrong. Jack said with a huge smile, "Yep, both of them. They're the best moms in the world." Jack is my friend. He invited me to his birthday party this summer. I learned that instead of having both a mom and a dad, Jack has 2 moms. Isn't that cool?
No, that's not cool. It's the same amount of cool as having a mom and a dad. Why would that be cool? That doesn't make any sense.
Yasmin.
Man, that reminds me of back when I was in high school and they were pushing the like, oh, being straight's not that great. Being gay is the way. You know, it's like you weren't cool unless you were some flavor of the rainbow. And that's why my friend and some other people started identifying as severely bisexual. Because that was the cool, trendy thing to do. You don't want to be straight, do ya? You fucking dumbass.
Pulled on Jack's pant leg. What about your dad? How does he feel about two moms? The whole class watched quietly, confused. I don't have a dad. My moms are my parents, Jack said, sitting back down. His smile was gone. A few of the—
I feel like that's a very rational question, right? If most kids are used to mom and dad because they are kids, and then they encounter a kid that has mom and mom, a very rational question would be like, well, how's your dad feel about having two moms? The simple answer is the one that he gave, but like, why would he get upset? What? As a wannabe dad, you would hate to have two moms. Way too much work.
Other kids looked at each other, surprised. You know what I thought? This was just like what happened between Prisha and Tommy on the playground. My friends needed to learn more about Jack's family to understand. Mr. Clark knew just what to say. I was glad because I was too shy to say something with the whole class listening. Every family is different. And isn't that what makes each one special? What is most important is that families are filled with love. Thank you for sharing your story about your parents, Jack. I bet they know how important it is to do your homework and to eat your broccoli.
Just don't mention domestic violence statistics around them. They probably wouldn't like that.
Class groaned. I guess they really don't like homework or broccoli. On Thursday, I spent time with my friend Lucia. Lucia and I like to color together during free time. Her family is from Mexico and she speaks another language. Isn't that cool? I only speak English, but Lucia is so smart she speaks Spanish too. Sometimes kids tease Lucia because she doesn't always know the English words. I think this is why she is quiet at school. Lucia told me she likes when I help her find the right words when we sit and color. I love it when she teaches me Spanish words. Later in PE class, Coach asked us to line up. The girls were on one side and the boys on the other side. My friend Stam stood in the middle of the gym, looking at from one side to the other.
Oh boy.
Coach pointed for Stam to join the boys' side. What Coach didn't realize was that Sam did not identify as a boy or a girl.
Oh, they're bringing the non-binary bullshit to the children! someone just put a sheet over my anime avatar and send this to Matt Walsh, right?
Sam had explained to me that this is known as gender non-binary. Sam looked really scared, so I stood next to Sam for—
I want to remind everyone who wasn't here for the beginning of the book, these are 4th graders, by the way. This is a 4th grade class.
Poor. Coach looked confused. Then Coach announced, kids born before January and June on my left, those born in July through December on my right. We're on the same team now. I was so happy Coach knew how to make Sam feel more included. Sam walked past the coach and smiled. Thanks, Coach. You're probably wondering—
Thanks, Coach, for feeding into this child's delusions. The woman looks and sounds so creepy.
Why I'm telling you about what I learned. I'm almost there. Just let me tell you about my friend Yasmin. Last week we had twin day. We were supposed to dress up like another kid in our class. Yeah.
This is 1st grade material? No, the book is for all ages, so you can read it to your 1st graders. I'm saying the fake children in the book are 4th graders. This is a 4th grade class claiming that there is a 4th grader who is gender non-binary.
Yasmin and I decided to be twins. We both have long hair, the same pink shirt, and royal crowns from our matching Halloween costumes. Remember Tommy from Monday's story? Well, he didn't have a twin. I guess he wasn't as excited about twin day as some of my friends.
But what about the other boy that looks identical to him?
When Mr. Clark was taking our picture, Tommy asked, Allie, who are you supposed to be twins with? I looked at him like he had 3 heads and pointed at Yasmin. We even wore matching sneakers and jeans. From head to toe, we match. You can't be twins. Yasmin's nothing like you. She's black.
What the fuck? Literally really hit him with the "Why are you black?" question. What the fuck? This is like when people get mad at like black cosplayers for some reason. I was like, there are unironically some people that are just like, you can't cosplay that character. And it's like, who the fuck cares? Who the fuck cares? Never ask a Tommy who his twin is. True.
I was so glad Yasmin knew what to say to Tommy because I did not. Yasmin said, Tommy, we know we don't look exactly alike. How could we? Nobody is exactly the same as anyone else. Tommy looked confused. Yasmin continued, my skin and hair are beautiful, and so are Allie's. We can be twins because we are both beautiful and smart.
I think you mean stunning and brave.
Still felt really weird about what Tommy said, but I didn't know how to make it better. I wanted to say Yasmin is exactly like me. She's smart, brave, and my best friend. Her black skin didn't change any of that.
That is the truest thing this book has said so far.
Thankfully, Mr. Clark said something that helped all of us. It's okay to call someone black, Tommy. What is not okay is to say it in a way that makes someone feel they are less because of the color of their skin.
Yeah, maybe we should stop doing that to the white children. I don't know, maybe just a thought. Maybe I'm crazy.
Tommy must have felt bad because I saw tears in his eyes. I'm sorry, Yasmin. I didn't mean to hurt your feelings. Now that I think about it, you and Allie are a lot alike. This is the part I've been waiting to tell you about. I promise all of my stories will make sense in a minute. Every Friday, Mr. Clark asks us to share what we learned during the week. For once, I'm ready with an answer. Mr. Clark said, class, let's share what we've learned this week. Do you have any volunteers? I raised my hand. Mr. Clark pointed at me. Allie, why don't you tell us about what you've learned? I learned that my friends aren't exactly like me. They're unique and different. I think that's what makes us all more interesting.
Your friend group, I feel like this is a false equivalency, right? Because, like, you can be in a friend group. Like, if you're a white dude and you have mostly white dude friends in your inner circle, you can all still be incredibly diverse from one another. Like, I have friends who have very different chains of thought than I do, who believe in things that I don't believe in. I'm still friends with them, right? Multicolor hive mind. It's just like, it doesn't matter who is in your friend group. It doesn't matter. Why are the illustrations ugly? I don't know, man.
Mr. Clark nodded. That's really good, Allie. Tell us more. We all have different abilities, skin colors, and religions. Some of us have different kinds of families or speak different languages. Our differences make us unique and special, but we are all kids who like to have fun together. We all like to play hide and seek on the playground. We like to eat lunch and laugh. We want to have friends and tell jokes. I took a breath. That was the most I've ever said in front of the class. I sat back down. My face felt weirdly hot. I don't talk like that in front of the class, but I had something important to share. Then Mr. Clark said something really cool.
Oh,
Did you know that Allie's name also has another meaning? It's spelled the same, but you say it like this. Ally. Do you know what that word means? Everyone was quiet. An ally is someone who helps others who are different. An ally is there for you when you are teased or when someone treats you unfairly. It can be a teacher, a parent, or a friend. Does that make sense? Everyone looked a bit confused, even me. Mr. Clark said, it's funny, Allie taught us something special and important today. We can see how we
read her own book.
We're different, but that doesn't mean we don't have to treat people differently. Then he asked, how can you be an ally to kids who are different from you? I decided right then that I'm committing to be an ally to my classmates. I will listen and learn more about them. When I know more about my friends, I can see how alike we really are. This makes me a better friend and an ally to everyone. Together, take the ally promise. And look at our caregiver.
Wait, no, not the end.
Take
the ally promise is, I believe in equality. I commit to being an ally for others. I want to be there for people that are different from me. I ask questions in a way that is respectful. I am curious. I empathize with others. I listen to learn more. Wow, chat, today I learned I'm an ally. I do all of those things. I do everything on the... I ask questions in a way that's respectful, usually. I'm very curious. I have empathy. I listen to these people to learn what they're doing. Wow, I'm an ally. Please, no more my sanity. I like how we got this reaction face here though.
Ally promise. And look at our caregiver, parent, and educator discussion guide for more.
Discussion guide is what is one new thing you learned in the story? So these are questions to ask the children after hearing the book. What is one new thing you learned in the story? What characters do you identify with most? When Tommy said Prisha did not belong, how do you think that made Prisha feel? When Allie sat with Lucia, she let Lucia know she was there for her, but didn't make her feel uncomfortable by asking a lot of questions. Doesn't that counter the pledge from earlier where it says that you should be curious? Like, if you want to understand someone, the best way to do that is to ask them questions. I don't really... What are some other examples in the book where Allie was a quiet ally to her classmates? 5. Name a few ways Allie showed she values her classmates' differences. Name a few ways that you could stick up for a classmate when another child is being unkind or unfairly treating others because they are different. How can you learn more about kids who are different from you? How do you think knowing more about a friend can help you be a better ally? What goals could you set to help your classmates with, that may be the word with, the challenges they face?
More information can be found at thelittleallies.com. There you can download the Ally Promise, take it together, as well as go through the discussion questions. Thank you for being an ally.
God, that was so fucking weird. That was so fucking weird, dude. Also, I had to like, while she was doing her closing statements there, I had to think back. Was it only the little white boy who was bullying everyone? I don't remember anyone else saying anything disparaging. So I'm wondering if people said that they like identify with Tommy, if that would cause a problem. Because it looks like it's Tommy being the one who's just like, you're kind of weird in like every scenario. It sounded like we were listening to a cult member. I mean, well, yeah. I mean, well, yeah.